That's it.
Yep. Alright, so today's class is going to be around weighing and even ifs, as we've already discussed. Now, I know that you guys have no idea about it, and this is what we are going to discuss. But before that, if anyone has a slight idea of what even ifs or weighing is, then I would love to know that. No? It's great. So we can all begin from the scratch. Now, to understand even ifs or their powers, we first need to understand the assumptions in debating, right? But yeah, before that, if at any point you feel that my voice is breaking or at points a few words are not audible, let me know immediately. Do not wait till the end of the class. Okay. That being said, in debates, when we are saying something X Y Z is happening, we are basically making an assumption that something ABC, which could have also happened, is not happening, right? So, for example, if I'm saying that if I'm saying that India will launch an attack on Pakistan, okay, that is what I'm saying in an argument, and I gave a lot of impacts for that, etc., etc. But what if India never launches an attack on Pakistan? In that case, my entire argument, or rather a big chunk of my debate, would be a false thing, and the judge may not buy it or may not give me appropriate scores for it, right? Now, this is something that will need factual verification and will probably a lot of time even after debates. However, we've done the structure of an argument. There are four parts to any arguments: reasoning, impact, and importance. Now, what if you made an assumption in the reasoning which the judge did not like a lot, and he does not have the same belief as you, right? He does not believe your reasoning. In that case, your entire argument, which was based upon that reasoning, would fall drastically, right? One year we've just begun with the class, so yeah, you've not missed much. Okay. However, then, what if you say to the judge that, see, judge, we are giving you this reasoning, and on the basis of that, we are giving you this entire argument. However, even if you do not want to believe this reasoning, then there is something else that we have to offer you. Okay, so it basically increases the width of your debate speech and makes it more comprehensive in nature, right? Because using even ifs, you reduce the assumptions in debate, and that makes your debate case very likely to be the exact truth, or very likely to be something that the judge or the normal audience would buy. Probably it won't be very clear right now, but let's come to the content and then maybe it would be better clear to you. Right. So now the basic question is that when you would want to use even ifs, right? Understand that even ifs take a lot of time, and in normal traditional inter-school debates, you have a very short time span of like maybe 3 to 4 minutes per speech, which is not a sufficient time where you should be using a lot of even ifs, right? And so it's important for you to prioritize and understand where it's important to give an even if, and where you can go ahead without giving it in much details, right? This is something that you will learn a lot by experience, but there are three main things which you can use to understand when you should use an even if and when you should not. Firstly, as I told you earlier, that when you are making an assumption that India will launch an attack on Pakistan, or if you are making an assumption that the government will implement XYZ policy, then at those times it's good to give an even if. The second time is when your opposition is saying the opposite. So, what it looks like is that if you are saying that so and so thing will happen, and that is why we'll receive so and so impact. However, opposition comes and says that no, whatever this person was saying that ABC will happen, that ABC is not going to happen. This XYZ is going to happen, right? This is what opposition says. So now you can come over here and then say that, firstly, say my ABC is more likely to happen for so and so reasons. But even if for a second I assume that their XYZ is what will actually happen, even in that case, we win this debate for so and so reasons, right? So you are making an even if analysis over here. Or thirdly, whenever you can, I mean, depending upon topic, you will find various areas where you can use an even if, and that's something that will come to you intuitively. So yeah, these are the three main places where you should be using it. Now let's come to the main thing. How do you do that? So we have an example, and probably that will help us do it better. So I'll just copy paste it. Okay, let's say that there was a debate motion in which the government was going to install a lot of CCTVs everywhere, like China basically. And now the side who was speaking against the policy, that is that they were speaking that government should not do so, they are saying that what if the government does this, then probably the videos of citizens will be recorded and will be accessible to people who can misuse it, right? Now, can anyone tell me what is it that the opposition is assuming over here? I mean, they are assuming a lot of things, but what is that one thing which for the motion can use? I'll give you 1 minute, but because we are learning, so it's very less likely that anybody of you will be able to get it. But yeah, you can always try.
They won't be accessible to people who can misuse it.
Exactly. And why it won't be accessible to people who can misuse it?
Security measures?
Security measures. And who keeps these security measures in place?
The government
The government.
itself.
And why would government keep these security measures in place?
mm, Because it's in the nation's interest.
Because it's in the nation interest. So by that you are implying that government is inherently a good actor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah. So you are making an assumption over here that government is a good actor. And similarly, side opposition as well is making an assumption that government is a bad actor, and that is why they will be using misuse this data and give it to people who can further misuse it, right?
Yeah.
So that is what the opposition that is what the opposition of side that is what the assumption of side opposition is. Now, if I as side opposition want to strengthen this argument using the power of even if, so what I need to do over here is this. See, what's the basic assumption? As side opposition, it is that government is bad, and so they will give this data to someone else who can further misuse it, right? Now, what if this is not true? What if government is not that bad of an actor? So this was my assumption, and now I come over here as side opposition once again and say that what if this assumption is false, right? Now, even if government is a good actor, then still in this system, like the system where government will install a lot of CCTVs everywhere, there will be middlemen. Middlemen in the sense that they will be police officers, or maybe someone who would be monitoring the CCTVs. I don't know, someone like that who would be monitoring them. And these middlemen, of course, are again people who are greedy, who have a lot of incentives, who might have a family which they want to protect from a gangster, and for several reasons, they can further give this data to any person who can further misuse it. So I am saying that even if government is a good actor, then still there exist these middlemen who might not be a good actor, right? Then, actor basically means an individual, person, organization, etc. Then, now again, over here I'm making an assumption that these middlemen are not inherently good people, right? So I will target this assumption as well, and I'll give a layered even if. Layered even if means ki मैंने एक assumption पर even if analysis दिया, फिर इस दूसरे even if analysis में भी हो सकता है एक छोटी मोटी assumption हो, तो मैंने इसमें भी एक even if लगाया, फिर उससे मुझे कुछ रिजल्ट मिला. अब इसमें भी हो सकता है एक छोटी मोटी assumption हो, तो मैंने उसमें भी एक even if लगा दिया. इस पूरे से मेरा केस इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंथन हो जाएगा दैट जज को वेरी लाइकली ये वाला आर्ग्यूमेंट मुझे ही देना पड़ेगा इन द सेंस कि लाइक आई विल विन दिस आर्ग्यूमेंट. Okay, so I've proven that agar first assumption is fails, then there will be middlemen or police officers who can give this data to people who will misuse it. But then what if these middlemen are inherently good people? They are not bad. Then I'll say that still there exists hackers, etc., who can misuse the vulnerabilities of the system, and then of course give it to people who will use it for wrong measures, right? So I've given a 3-layered even if analysis over here. Firstly, I said that government is bad, and before giving this even if, where I'm saying that what if government is good, before this what I can also do is that government is in fact bad for these reasons. Now, what are the reasons that government can be bad? There are several reasons. Government needs a lot of political funding, so that is why they need money, and for that money they need to support these people, or they need to support businesses, etc. Then secondly, the gangsters can get them a lot of vote, because sometimes they have a cult-like following. So maybe government is using them. And then more importantly, these gangsters can help the government threaten people who are going against the government, basically using these gangsters for the things that government wants to do but cannot do because government needs to portray itself as a good actor. So that is why gangsters are helpful in doing unlawful but required activities, right? Then again, government में जो लोग बैठे हैं, they are individuals as well, and then individuals themselves have a lot of reasons why they can be bad, why they can do bad actions. Maybe they are just greedy, or maybe they have a family which they want to protect from another gangster. So for all of these reasons, I'm saying firstly that government is bad, and they will give this data to someone who will misuse it. But then I am saying that even if government is not bad, then the middlemen, the police officers are bad. But then I am saying that even if these police officers are not that bad, then still there exist hackers, etc., who can misuse the vulnerabilities. So, at the end, some way or the other, people will be able to misuse this data of several citizens being recorded. Is this clear, or anyone has a doubt on this? No? Great. We have another example over here. So, there was this argument, and we have it here. Okay. So, in this argument, for the motion is saying that Indians going abroad should live together or help each other out and be an active member of the community of Indians over there, because it will act as a support system for them. Okay? Is there anyone who is not able to understand what does this line over here mean, or what is side for the motion actually trying to say? Everybody gets it? Great. Now, against the motion comes over here and says that you are making an assumption. By the way, will anyone like to try what is the assumption that side for the motion is making over here? No? No worries. So yeah, against the motion will come over here and say that, see, for the motion is making an assumption, which is that there are no other support systems for these Indians living abroad, right? there still exists support systems for. By the way, support systems basically mean that if you are in a problem, they are going to help you, right? So it will be clear with these examples. So there still exist support systems for them. There are no other support system for these Indians living abroad. Against the motion will say that for the motion or the government is assuming that there are no other support systems for these Indians living abroad. However, the truth is that there still exists several support systems for them, like police, medical, religion based communities, etc. ठीक है? तो अगेंस्ट द मोशन सेट कि भैया गवर्नमेंट यू आर मेकिंग एन assumption ओवर हियर, लेकिन सच ये है. ओके, नाउ the government, what they will do is that, see, firstly they will give you again reasons as to why there do not exist any other support system for these people, which might look like how police is discriminatory or does not listen to them well, listen to these people well enough, or just judges them even before they've identified the truth, or maybe that their religion is not that famous in this country, and so there are not a lot of religion based communities over here which are close knit, etc. So they'll first give you reasons as to why there are no other support systems for these people, but then the government will say that even if other support systems are there, like these, even in that case, मैं आपसे कहा है ना तुम
मानेगा वैसे अच्छे कौन सा टाइम आनेगा है फोन भी उठा नहीं रहे हो अपने मर्जी चले आ रहे हो कुछ भी बता नहीं रहे फोन
ना दो.
बाहर आओ या मत बोलो यार बोल रहा हूँ नहीं हम तो बोल ही नहीं हम तो शांति से बोलते
Okay, so yeah, government will say that even if other support systems are there like these, which is police, medical, religion-based communities, etc., even in that case, these people still need such kind of nation-based communities or support systems instead of the existing ones. So how they are going to say that? They'll say that even if other support systems are there like these, still these support systems do not necessarily understand the problems which are specific to these Indians living abroad, which might look like discrimination, etc. ठीक है, तो पहली चीज़ हमने कही कि अगर ये सपोर्ट सिस्टम एग्जिस्ट भी करते हैं तब ये सपोर्ट सिस्टम हो सकता है जो इन स्पेसिफिकली इन इंडियंस को बाहर प्रॉब्लम्स झेलनी पड़ रही है, जैसे कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. These support systems do not understand these problems. Why? Because ये सपोर्ट सिस्टम जैसे कि पुलिस वगैरह है, मेडिकल है, रिलीजन बेस्ड कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, ये केवल इंडियंस को ध्यान में रख के थोड़ी बनी है, ये तो पूरे वहाँ पर जितने लोग हैं सबको ध्यान में रख के बनी है. तो स्पेसिफिकली इन इंडियंस की प्रॉब्लम वहाँ पर एड्रेस नहीं होने वाली है. ठीक है, अब चलो हम ये कह देते हैं कि अगर ये सपोर्ट सिस्टम्स, अब देखो यहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट एक और एजम्पशन भी कर रही है जो अपोजिशन ने उतने अच्छे से पॉइंट आउट नहीं करी, वो ये कि अगर ये सपोर्ट सिस्टम्स बन भी जाते हैं तो क्या ये एक्चुअली में हेल्पफुल भी होंगे, राइट? बस एक कम्युनिटी बना लेने से इनकी ये प्रॉब्लम्स सॉल्व तो हो नहीं जाएंगी. तो ये भी एक assumption है that we are saying that if they live in a community then they will be able to solve their problems, which is not inherently true. So how do we justify it? We'll say that even if these support systems are unable to solve these problems of discrimination, ignore the spelling mistakes, etc. directly, though they do have large bargaining power. Is there anyone who does not understand large bargaining power? I'll do that for you. Just raise your hand. Yeah. So even though they do have large bargaining power, and so for that reason they can solve the problems of discrimination, etc. But still, if they cannot, then even in that case, they at least know how to deal with these problems and still keep going ahead in your life. That is, जो आपकी इस कम्युनिटी में और इंडियंस हैं जो मे बी आपसे 10 साल पहले यहाँ आए थे, उन्होंने भी इतने सालों से वहाँ पर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन वगैरह फेस करा है, बट स्टिल वो अपना काम कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पर रह रहे हैं, एक्सेट्रा. तो वो आपको ये समझा सकते हैं कि इस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के बावजूद आप कैसे एक नॉर्मल लाइफ जीकर अपने काम को प्रोडक्टिवली कर सकते हैं. ओके, बट इवन इफ वो आपकी ये मदद नहीं कर पाते, अगेन आई एम मेकिंग एन अजम्पशन ओवर हियर. मैं क्या अजम्पशन कर रहा हूँ कि देखो यार, ये लोग पहले से रह रहे हैं तो ये मुझे समझा पाएंगे कि मैं कैसे इन प्रॉब्लम से डील कर सकता हूँ. क्या पता वो मुझे ना समझा पाए कि मैं कैसे इन प्रॉब्लम से डील कर सकता हूँ. तो फिर यहाँ पर एक और अजम्पशन ले रहा हूँ मैं. सो आई विल गिव अनदर लेयर ऑफ इवन इफ. आई विल से दैट इवन इफ दीज पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू हेल्प मी इन माई प्रॉब्लम, देन स्टिल just knowing the fact that I am not alone in this problem and we all are together in this, facing the same problem and trying to fight against the system together, will give enormous amount of साइकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेंथ टू द पर्सन. ठीक है, कि जैसे मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अब मुझे अकेले इस एक इंडियन को पूरे सिस्टम से नहीं लड़ना है, मेरे संग और भी बहुत लोग हैं जो इस प्रॉब्लम से जूझ रहे हैं, तो दैट विल गिव मी अ साइकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेंथ इवन इफ दैट इज नॉट एबल टू अचीव एनीथिंग. सो हियर एज वेल आई हैव गिवन अराउंड 4 layers of even if analysis to strengthen my argument further. At any point I see that I am making an assumption, I throw an even if analysis so as to say that देखो, if you do not want to believe in my assumption, I still have something to offer to you, right? So if you make a flow chart, I'll come to doubt just in a second. So if you make a flow chart, what this looks like is that I'll probably not be able to show that in a good manner over here, but yeah, what it looks like is that you had something over here like a decision making flow chart. Then you had, if this is true, if this is false. True है तो आप पहले ही कह रहे हो, false में you give an even if analysis. ठीक है, अब इसमें भी अगर एक true और false वाला कंडीशन है तो अगेन आप true में कुछ कह रहे हो एंड false में आप फिर से एक even if analysis दे रहे हो, राइट? तो ये एक ऐसा चार्ट बन जाएगा जो कि यहाँ पे उतना क्लियर नहीं होगा मेरे कर्सर से केवल, बट हाँ, इट्स नॉट इवन दैट इम्पॉर्टेंट. यस दिगांत, गो अहेड विद इट आउट.
How many even ifs is too many? Because I have a feeling that maybe the judges who are listening might get at a point bored with that particular point.
Right. The question depends upon the kind of competition that you are in. See, if you would talk about the traditional inter-school debate competitions where you have a 3 to 4 minute debate speech, probably just a single even if analysis would be like a lot, right? Or maybe not even that is required. But when you go for these APDs, BPDs, WSDCs, these formats where you're doing team debates and where generally the speeches are of 6 to 8 minutes, there the judges would want you to give as many even ifs as possible because they have a different scoring scale over there, jahan par they judge you on the basis of missing logical links in your argument. So if you do not give a single even if, then they will credit it as a missing logical link and an assumption and an unjustified assumption, and so you will lose the scores over there. तो अगर आप नॉर्मल इंटर स्कूल डिबेट की बात कर रहे हो, वहाँ पर अगर एक भी दे रहे हो बहुत ज़्यादा है, मे बी वो भी ना दो, नॉट दैट रिक्वायर्ड. बट इफ़ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दीज काइंड ऑफ डिबेट्स जहाँ पर ये टीम वाले फॉर्मेट होते हैं, देयर यू नीड टू डू गिव अ लॉट ऑफ इवन इफ्स. ओके,
Yeah, thank you.
alright. Now this was all about even ifs. I do want to do an example for you all, like one that you can practice, but I don't think we have that kind of time left today. So we'll first come to weighing, and then we'll come back to this if we have time. Okay. Now, weighing is again a very interesting concept. And instead of teaching you why it's important or how to do it, firstly, so instead of teaching you when it is required or what to do, I'll directly come to how to do it first. Okay. So there are majorly two kinds of weighing in a debate, which is internal weighing and external weighing. Now, what's the difference between the two? So let's say that both the sides, side for the motion and side against the motion, are arguing about economic benefit. Side for the motion is saying that I have more economic benefit on my side. Side against the motion is saying that I have more economic benefit on my side. How do we understand which side has more economic benefit? तो यहाँ पर there is a single benefit, a single outcome that both of them are trying to target, a single argument, which is economic benefit. इसके within किसके पास ज़्यादा benefit होगा, ये जब हम judge करेंगे, then we'll be talking about internal weighing, right? But then second case, let's say for the motion is able to prove that they have more economic benefit on their side, and against the motion is able to prove that they have more maybe environmental benefit on their side. So what should we prefer, more economic benefit or more environmental benefit? That is what is known as external weighing. So here you are talking about importance of a single argument over other arguments. Is this difference clear? So then we can move on to how to do this. It's clear? Great. We'll probably do a class again on weighing someday. So yeah. Right. Now, how do you win internal weighing, or rather, how do you win external weighing as well? It's pretty much similar. अगर आपको internal weighing जीतनी है, you just say that this is what Gov said and this is what Op said. यहाँ पर आपको ज़्यादा डिटेल में बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं, बिकॉज उससे पहले आपके पहले वाले स्पीकर्स बता ही चुके हैं टीम डिबेट्स में कि गवर्नमेंट ने क्या कहा, अपोजिशन ने क्या कहा. You just need to give a quick summary of it, right? Then you tell how do these things compare, like आपस में इंटरैक्ट कैसे कर रही हैं, जो गवर्नमेंट ने कहा, जो अपोजिशन ने कहा, वो आपस में इंटरैक्ट कैसे कर रहा है, किसकी बात ज़्यादा सच है, किसकी बात कहाँ पर गलत है, कहाँ पर सही है, एटसेट्रा. एंड फाइनली यू गिव द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, दैट इज वेइंग मैकेनिज्म्स. Why is government better than opposition, or why is opposition better than government, whatever is your side. Now, अगर आपको ये सब नहीं भी समझा, what you need to understand to do weighing, whether internal or external, is weighing mechanisms. So, we'll come to the weighing mechanisms, but before that, how do you do external weighing? External weighing में again, तुमको बस weighing mechanism use करना है. तुमको कहना है कि ये वाला argument हमने जीता, ये वाला argument उन्होंने जीता. अब मैं आपके लिए वेइंग मैकेनिज्म यूज़ करके मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि कौन सा वाला आर्ग्यूमेंट ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है, इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट या एनवायरमेंटल बेनिफिट. ठीक है. सो लेट्स से सम कॉमन वेइंग मैकेनिज्म्स ओवर हियर. दीज आर फर्स्टली इम्पैक्ट या मार्जिनल बेनिफिट. इसका मतलब क्या है? नाउ इम्पैक्ट ऑन मार्जिनल बेनिफिट कैन बी टू फोल्ड, इंटेंसिटी एंड depth and width. So let's say that Vanya is saying that she'll help 100 people increase their income by ₹1,000, and Digantar is saying that he'll help 100 people increase their income by ₹2,000. ठीक है. वान्या ने कहा कि वो 100 लोगों की इनकम 1,000 रुपए से बढ़ाएगी. दिगांतर ने कहा कि वो 100 लोगों की इनकम 2,000 रुपए से बढ़ाएगा. तो विच साइड इज बेटर राइट नाउ, वान्या और दिगांतर?
Can you please repeat? I had some
No issues.
internet issues.
No issues. So I am saying that Vanya is saying कि she'll help 100 people increase their income by ₹1,000. Digantar is saying that he will help 100 people increase their income by ₹2,000. So which side has more benefit right now? Vanya, which is first one, or Digantar, which is the second one over here? Okay, no issues. देखो, of course, दिगांतर ने अभी लोगों को ज़्यादा प्रॉमिस किया, राइट? कि वान्या कह रही है कि वो 1,000 रुपए से इनकम बढ़ाएगी, सेकेंड वाली चीज़ में 2000 से सबकी इनकम बढ़ रही है, तो ओवर हियर द लैटर इज बेटर. ठीक है, तो अगर आप सेम नंबर ऑफ पीपल को हेल्प कर रहे हो बट यू आर सेइंग दैट you are helping a single person better, like you're helping a single person more, then this will be marginal benefit. ठीक है, अगर आप टर्म्स भूल भी जाते हो इट्स फाइन, you just need to remember the ways. The second way to do it is that you say that you are helping more number of people. That clearly Digantar is helping maybe 1,000 people, Vanya is helping 2,000 people. So who is helping more people right now? Digantar or Vanya? Anyone? Vanya, right? Vanya is helping more people right now. She is helping 2,000 people. So if you are helping more people on your side, then that again would come in the width, right? तो इम्पैक्ट या मार्जिनल बेनिफिट में आप बस ये बता रहे हो कि कौन सी साइड में आप ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर पा रहे हो. यू आर एबल टू हेल्प मोर पीपल, राइट, विच यू कैन ईदर डू बाय हेल्पिंग मोर पीपल और हेल्पिंग द सेम नंबर ऑफ पीपल इन अ बेटर मैनर. ठीक है, द सेकेंड वे टू डू दिस इज लाइकलीहुड एनालिसिस और प्रोबेबिलिटी, विच इज सिंपली प्रोबेबिलिटी का जो बेसिक मतलब होता है कि हाउ लाइकली आर यू टू अचीव वट एवर यू आर प्रोमिसिंग. ओके, हाउ लाइकली आर यू टू अचीव वट एवर यू आर प्रोमिसिंग. सो दिस कैन अगेन बी डन through something known as incentives and capacity. We'll cover this in detail because incentives and capacity is like a big topic. So we'll cover this in detail in some other class. But for now, just understand incentive का मतलब ये है कि would I want to do something, and capacity का मतलब ये है that can I actually do that. तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि आप एक आर्ग्यूमेंट बोल रहे हो, हर आर्ग्यूमेंट को सच होने में कुछ एक्शंस चाहिए होता है, राइट? किसी ना किसी को कुछ करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज व्हेन व्हाटएवर यू आर स्पीकिंग विल बी ट्रू, राइट? दीज पीपल हु विल बी डूइंग द एक्शन, इनको अभी के लिए हम स्टेक होल्डर्स कहते हैं. ओके, अब सो यू आइडेंटिफाई विच आर द स्टेक होल्डर्स हु विल डू द एक्शन. ठीक है, देन you need to do incentives and capacity analysis for these stakeholders. कि तुमने एक आर्गुमेंट दिया जिसके लिए ज़रूरी ये है कि मैं कुछ करूँ. अब क्या मैं ऐसा करना चाहूँगा, एक क्वेश्चन है, और क्या मैं ऐसा कर भी सकता हूँ, ये दूसरा क्वेश्चन है. अगर ये दोनों बातें तुम प्रूव कर पाते हो तब ये सच हो जाएगा कि हाँ, जो भी तुम प्रॉमिस कर रहे थे, यानी मैं ये चीज़ करूँगा, वो होएगा. तो तुम्हारा आर्गुमेंट वहाँ पर ज़्यादा लाइकली हो जाएगा. So let's say that the government was able to prove that they have both incentive and capacity on their side, while side opposition was only able to show that they have capacity on their side. उन्होंने ये नहीं दिखा पाया कि हमारे साइड पे जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं वो ऐसा करना चाहते हैं, वो बस ये दिखा पाया कि ये लोग कर सकते हैं. तो इस केस में जहाँ गवर्नमेंट दोनों दिखा रही है कि हमारे स्टेक होल्डर्स ये कर भी सकते हैं और करना भी चाहते हैं, और अपोजिशन केवल ये दिखा रही है कि हमारे स्टेक होल्डर्स ये कर सकते हैं बट मे बी वो करना नहीं चाह रहे, या फिर एटलीस्ट दूसरी वाली चीज़ वो दिखा नहीं पाए. इन दिस केस साइड गवर्नमेंट इज मोर लाइकली, और उनका जो आर्ग्यूमेंट है इट्स मोर लाइकली टू बी ट्रू, सो दे विन दिस आर्ग्यूमेंट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी और लाइकलीहुड एनालिसिस. ठीक है, सो वी हैव डन टू मेन वेइंग मैकेनिज्म्स टिल नाउ. इज देयर एनी डाउट इन दिस? No?
No.
Okay. The third thing that we need to do is vulnerability. Vulnerability basically means that which stakeholders are the more vulnerable ones and should be helped more. See, there is a general understanding that we as the government should try to help the most disadvantaged people. That is, reservation क्यों होता है? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट के पास एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो सबसे डिसएडवांटेज्ड ग्रुप्स को, दैट इज अभी के लिए मे बी जो स्केड्यूल्ड कास्ट और स्केड्यूल्ड ट्राइब हैं, उनको हेल्प करें कि वो अपने आप को अपलिफ्ट कर पाए। तो सिमिलरली कहीं पर भी हमारे पास एक प्रिंसिपल, एक 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 मॉरल ऑब्लिगेशन होता है कि हम सबसे ज़्यादा डिसएडवांटेज्ड ग्रुप्स की मदद करें। तो तुम्हारे डिबेट टॉपिक में कई सारे लोग होंगे तुम जिनकी मदद कर सकते हो, बट तुम्हारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ये होती है कि तुम सबसे ज़्यादा वल्नरेबल सेक्शंस को मदद करो। सो आर यू हेल्पिंग द मोस्ट डिसएडवांटेज्ड ग्रुप्स इन योर डिबेट, राइट? अब ये डिसएडवांटेज अलग अलग तरीक़ों से हो सकता है कि तुम्हारे पास ऑप्शन हो कि या तो तुम उन लोगों की मदद कर सकते हो जिनकी इनकम 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा की है, या तुम उन लोगों की मदद कर सकते हो जिनकी इनकम 1 लाख रुपए से ज़्यादा की है। तो तुम्हारी ये जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि तुम 1 लाख से वालों की मदद करो, क्योंकि दीज आर द मोर वल्नरेबल पीपल, राइट? सिमिलरली कोई और चीज़ में, जैसे लेट्स से तुमको ये ऑप्शन मिला था कि तुम या तो खुद को मार सकते हो या खुद को बेहतर बना सकते हो, बट किसी दूसरे पर्सन को ये ऑप्शन नहीं मिला था, दे हैड टू सफ़र। तो वहाँ पर ये मॉरल ऑब्लिगेशन गवर्नमेंट की होगी कि वो उस दूसरे व्यक्ति को हेल्प करे, क्योंकि ही डिड नॉट चूज टू किल हिमसेल्फ। यही आर्ग्यूमेंट है जब दिया जाता है दैट व्हाई यू शुड नॉट बैन सिगरेट, बिकॉज जब आप बैन कर रहे हो सिगरेट्स को, तो this person who is consuming cigarette or alcohol or something like that is choosing to kill himself, while the money that you will use out of taxes collected from him will be used to build maybe hospitals, etc. And these government hospitals will then help the poor who did not have the choice when they were getting affected by a disease, right? तो क्योंकि उनके पास चॉइस नहीं थी, बट दिस स्मोकर और अल्कोहल कंज्यूमर हैड अ चॉइस, देयरफॉर तुम्हारी मॉरल ऑब्लिगेशन है टू हेल्प द पर्सन हु डिड नॉट हैव द चॉइस। मतलब टू सिंप्लीफाई, तुम्हारे डिबेट टॉपिक में तुम्हारे पास 3-4 लोगों की मदद करने का ऑप्शन होगा। तुम्हें देखना पड़ेगा कि इनमें से सबसे ज़्यादा डिसएडवांटेज्ड पोजीशन पर कौन सा व्यक्ति है, एंड देन इट विल बी योर मॉरल ऑब्लिगेशन टू हेल्प दिस पर्सन। Yes, go ahead.
ये जिसमें हम लोग ऐसे करेंगे कि पहले हम लोग प्रायोरिटाइज करें वल्नरेबल ग्रुप्स को, तो उसमें ऐसा भी तो हो जाएगा कि वल्नरेबल ग्रुप्स आर ऑफन माइनॉरिटीज, तो उसमें ऑपोजिशन कह सकता है कि वी आर हेल्पिंग लेस पीपल दैट दे आर।
Correct, got it. See, vulnerable sections are generally not minorities. In some cases they can be minorities, but in large number of cases they are majority, because अगर तुम reservation के केस में भी देखो तो you might say that the people who are getting benefited out of reservation are only the minority, but it's not actually the truth, because economically weaker section के लिए भी reservation होता है, and that includes the majority of population, right? तो firstly marginal benefit वहाँ पर भी ज़्यादा है, but let's just assume कि okay, so I'm doing an even if over here, but let's just assume that even if these people, even if there is a clash between marginal benefit and vulnerability, that is that one side is able to help more people and the other side is able to help more vulnerable people, then again that leads to something known as weighing mechanism का weighing. मतलब you need to show that why your weighing mechanism is better or is the more right fit for this argument as compared to सामने वाले का weighing mechanism. Now how do you do that? Maybe तुम्हारे marginal benefit में केवल 100 लोगों की एक्स्ट्रा मदद हो रही थी, बट मैं ज़्यादा vulnerable लोगों की मदद कर पा रहा था। तो मार्जिनल बेनिफिट में जो तुम जीत रहे थे वहाँ पे तुम्हारी विक्ट्री का मार्जिन कितना ज़्यादा था, वर्सेस मेरे वल्नरेबल वाले पॉइंट में अगेन विक्ट्री का मार्जिन कितना ज़्यादा है। ये दोनों चीज़ें आपस में कैसे इंटरैक्ट करती हैं, उससे तुम ये बता सकते हो कि कैसे मेरे वाले को ज़्यादा प्रायोरिटाइज करना चाहिए। दूसरी चीज़, कॉलेज लेवल डिबेट्स में एक जनरल कंसेंसस है, या इवन स्कूल लेवल डिबेट्स में एक जनरल कंसेंसस है कि वल्नरेबिलिटी इज़ अ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्टर एज कम्पेयर्ड टू मार्जिनल बेनिफिट। एज लॉन्ग एज कि तुम्हारा मार्जिनल बेनिफिट में जो मार्जिन है गवर्नमेंट और अपोजिशन का वो कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा ही नहीं है, लाइक हाँ अगर एक बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रास्टिक डिफरेंस है तो मे बी मार्जिनल बेनिफिट वल्नरेबिलिटी के ऊपर जीत जाए, बट मेजॉरिटी केसेस में इट वोंट हैपन, राइट। उसके सिवा एग्जैक्टली हाउ यू कैन मेक दिस कंपेयर और वेट बिटवीन देम, दैट इज समथिंग यू कैन ओनली अंडरस्टैंड उस डिबेट पे एट दैट पॉइंट। ओके,
थैंक यू।
so we've done marginal benefit, we've done likelihood analysis of probability, and we have done vulnerability, right? Now the next thing that we'll do, we'll just do two more, which is reversibility of damage. तो रिवर्सिबिलिटी ऑफ डैमेज का मतलब ये है कि हर आर्ग्यूमेंट के कुछ पोटेंशियल हार्म्स होते हैं। अगर मैं आज कोई पॉलिसी अप्लाई कर दूं तो हो सकता है कि कुछ लोग उसके खिलाफ प्रोटेस्ट करें, राइट। अगर वक्फ बिल वाली पॉलिसी इम्प्लीमेंट हो जाती है तो ये भी हो सकता है कि कुछ लोग प्रोटेस्ट करें, राइट। तो उससे क्या डैमेज होगा, ठीक है, एंड किस हद तक डैमेज होगा। देन जो दूसरी साइड पर लोग हैं, दैट इज तुम्हारे जो ओपोनेंट्स हैं, वो भी कोई ना कोई पॉलिसी प्रपोज कर रहे होंगे, तो वो मे भी कह रहे हैं कि वक्फ बिल इम्प्लीमेंट ना हो, तो उससे क्या डैमेज होगा। अब एक जनरल कंसेंसस ये है कि हार्म्स हमेशा होते हैं, लाइक पॉसिबल हार्म्स आर ऑलवेज देयर, बट क्वेश्चन ये है कि इनमें से कौन से हार्म्स को हम रिवर्स कर सकते हैं एंड कौन से हार्म्स को हम रिवर्स नहीं कर सकते। जैसे कि अगर एक तरफ पर 1 लाख लोगों का घर डिस्ट्रॉय हो सकता है, घर आई मीन लिटरल हाउस कैन बी डिस्ट्रॉय, तो ठीक है घर दोबारा बन सकते हैं, बट अगर दूसरे हाथ पर 1 लाख लोगों की जान जा रही है तो दैट कैन नॉट बी रिवर्स्ड, एंड दैट इज वाई वो इरिवर्सिबिलिटी की वजह से ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, ठीक है। तो मतलब क्या है, दोनों ही साइड के केसेस में कुछ पोटेंशियल हार्म्स होंगे, गवर्नमेंट के भी ऑपोजिशन के भी। अगर गवर्नमेंट के हार्म्स रिवर्स हो सकते हैं बट ऑपोजिशन के हार्म्स रिवर्स नहीं हो सकते, तो गवर्नमेंट आके ये कह सकती है कि सी इन आर केस डैमेज, अगर डैमेजेस होते भी हैं तो स्टिल दे कैन बी रिवर्स्ड, but in their case if anything goes wrong then this cannot be reversed, it will lead to drastic damage etc etc, and therefore on the basis of irreversibility of damage we should get this point, that is government should win this argument। किसी को कोई डाउट इसमें या अभी तक हमने जो भी कर रहे थे उसमें? नो? ओके, the next one is timeline of impact। now this one is a little bit difficult to do and a tricky one to do, and here what you need to do is short term versus long term analysis। okay, तो कुछ arguments ऐसे होते हैं, तो let's say opposition और government के बीच में एक conflict है, यहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट शॉर्ट टर्म में ज़्यादा बेनिफिट्स दे पा रही है बट ऑपोजिशन लॉन्ग टर्म में ज़्यादा बेनिफिट्स दे पा रही है, तो अब कौन जीतेगा, शॉर्ट टर्म बेनिफिट्स वाला या लॉन्ग टर्म बेनिफिट्स वाला? इट्स अ वेरी हार्ड क्वेश्चन टू डिसाइड, बिकॉज क्या हमारे लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी अभी ज़्यादा बेनिफिट्स लेना है या क्या हमारे लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी लॉन्ग टर्म में ज़्यादा बेनिफिट्स लेना है। इस क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने के कई तरीके हो सकते हैं, बट वन ऑफ द वेज टू डू दिस इज दैट इफ़ यू वांट टू शो कि तुम्हें, अगर तुम गवर्नमेंट हो एंड तुम्हारा शॉर्ट टर्म में बेनिफिट ज़्यादा है, देन यू कैन प्रॉबली यूज़ अर्जेंसी, राइट। शॉर्ट टर्म में यू कैन यूज़ अर्जेंसी कि अगर आज के आज हमने कुछ नहीं करा देन डैमेजेस वुड बी रियली वेरी वेरी हाई, बट अगर तुम लॉन्ग टर्म में अपने आप को ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल दिखा पा रहे हो and you want to show the judges that they should focus more on long term as compared to short term, then you should ideally show how this problem is not leading to any immediate harms, and so it is better to solve it structurally, because if you don't, the cycle will continue। तो बेसिकली लार्जली दो तरीके हैं इसको दिखाने के, कि तुम पहले तो अर्जेंसी पे खेलो। इफ़ यू आर एबल टू प्रूव कि ज़्यादा अर्जेंसी है इस प्रॉब्लम में, देन तुम शॉर्ट टर्म में दिखा सकते हो कि लाइक शॉर्ट टर्म बेनिफिट्स आर मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट। But if you are able to prove that urgency is not that much in this situation, and probably if even if हम शॉर्ट टर्म में ये बेनिफिट्स अचीव कर लें, तो स्टिल एक साइकिल बनेगी जो कंटिन्यूअसली इस प्रॉब्लम को बार बार क्रिएट करती रहेगी एंड हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो वहाँ पे यू आर एबल टू शो दैट हाउ स्ट्रक्चरल लॉन्ग टर्म चेंजेस आर मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, क्या ये चीज़ क्लियर है? क्या इसमें डाउट है? एंड प्रॉबली दिस कैन हैव बिकॉज इट्स अ लिटिल बिट मोर ट्रिकी टू अप्लाई. नो, कूल देन. So, the sixth one is the same as vulnerability, so we won't be doing that. But yeah, right. So largely there are 5 main weighing mechanisms. There are several others. This is not an exhaustive list, but they shall cover a lot of weighing mechanisms for you. The first one is the impact of the marginal benefit. Are you able to help more number of people, or are you able to help the same number of people but in a better manner? The next one is likelihood analysis of probability. That whatever you are speaking, how likely is it to become true? That you can do by showing who will do actions for this to turn out to be true, and this person who needs to do the actions, who is a stakeholder, does he have the incentive and capacity to do that? The third thing is that you can show these people are more disadvantaged, they are the more vulnerable ones, and therefore on vulnerability we should win this argument. The fourth one that you should do is reversibility of damage. That on their side the damages are irreversible, on our side are the damages even if they are reversible, and therefore we should win this argument. The fifth one is timeline of impact, wherein if you want to show that you have more short term benefits, then you should show that how there is urgency to solve this problem. If you do not solve it immediately, then millions of people will die or whatever, and therefore short term benefits shall be preferred more. But if you are able to show that you have more long term benefits on your side, then you should be showing me that there is no urgency to solve this problem, there are no immediate harms, but this cycle will continue if we do not bring in some structural changes, and that is why long term changes are more beneficial over here. This was all for today's class. If anybody has a doubt now, you can ask right now. No one? Cool then. So we'll stop the recording. Thank you so much. You all